there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com, here with Kenyon, one of my locals, one of my usuals. What's the word I'm looking for when people come to the store a lot?
Regulars?
Regulars,
yeah,
that's the word. Hey. And he was asking about a deck. A lot of things that I get in my store is people asking me for help with their decks, so I thought I would try to help Kenyon out with a Harvest Season deck. I think either blue-green could work. The other thing I'm really thinking about is this card, which should blow Kenyon's mind. Throne of the God Pharaoh. This is a deck I've been wanting to use, or a card I've been wanting to use in the deck, which I think really works well with the Harvest. What is it called? Harvest of the Seasons? Harvest Season. Harvest Season.
Yeah.
So this is the idea of the deck, and right off the bat, I think Green Eldrazi is the way to go with this deck if you want to get the most bang for the buck. You want to use Nissa. I'm not against Nissa because green-blue Eldrazi's could work. That's actually not bad at all. We can try green-blue, but I think that for this deck to work, you want as many creatures out as possible. And then here is the other engine. Cryptolith. So the Cryptolith right is the other idea. So this is going to allow all your creatures to tap down for the Harvest Season, and the Harvest Season is going to be able to get a ton of lands. And then we usually will have enough ways to generate mana for big creatures. I mean, Ulamog wouldn't be against the... I wouldn't be against putting this in my deck, or something like Worldbreaker. You can even go in Conduit of Ruins if you really want to go into heavier Eldrazi list, or anything we could ramp into. I'll have to see what other stuff is ramping into. So with this, you'd want some 1, 2s, and 3s. If we're in, we could go black-green. Black-green's not bad because you get Catacomb Sifter, and it's kind of my black-green tokens list where the Throne of the God Pharaoh could work out. And end step 2 with the Throne of the God Pharaoh is pretty good because it can be used as like kind of a finisher. Westvale Abbey will probably want to be in this deck too. But I like green because green has the ability to get a lot of tokens. But I'm also thinking like, we can go Metallic Eldrazi, which I think is pretty well positioned at this moment, because you do get some good blue cards as far as Drowner is concerned. Drowner of Hopes, I believe is what the card's called. As well as in green, there are plenty of cards. Panharmonicon can also go in this deck for infinite tokens with the Eldrazi Displacer. And then they can tap down with the Cryptolith right. So there's Bant. We could go into Bant. We could go into, if you're not looking for an infinite, we could go into Sultai. And we can also just go into mono green. I think a mono green list could also work. So, I mean, the very first what we would want to do is probably want to go the Blister Pods. I think Blister Pods are the great way to start off this deck with a 1-drop. And I think some amount of Rishkar should be in here as just another way to have a tap-down effect for the Throne of the God Pharaoh. Because I don't know if there's a lot of ways that require tapping down creatures. And this one's a pretty good drop. Loam Dryad's another one you could think of running as the 1-drop. I've usually found other ones to work better, but this is something that taps down 2 creatures. And I think this is pretty... I think both of these are pretty good. Blood Artist is something we throw in here if we go into in the green-black route. And then this is very similar to my list, but I mean, we do need a payoff for the Harvest Season. And so I think that's where we're going to run some of the bigger green creatures. Is there one that creates a lot of creatures at the moment? We'll go ahead and look here with the creatures. But this is a good little start, would be the Blister Paws, the Loam Dryads. These work with your 2-drops. Catacomb Sifter would be going into black. You could get the Zulport Cutthroat as well as black. There's also some pretty decent 1-drops in black. You could also go Zombies. I wouldn't be against running Cryptolith Rights in a zombie-type strategy with Crypt Breaker. But I don't know. Crypt Breaker would be really good in here, but Loam Dryad is something that is going to accelerate the mana. I think Rishkar might want to be a 3-of in here. At that point, Walking Ballista could be a big payoff as well. There's a lot of different ways we can go. So, yeah.
Well, and you were also like talking earlier about going green-white. There was also like that enchantment that like doubles tokens.
The doubling token enchantment?
Yeah.
I think that Panharmonicon would probably just be superior. Well, no, because this one doubles. We could go green-white. Yes,
Maybe
okay,
Bant.
that
Yeah.
does do an infinite combo without
Yeah.
Bant. We can do that. Yeah. We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Okay.
I hope you guys can hear Kenyon okay. We're Eldrazi Displacer. So what we'd want is we want the Eldrazi Displacer. And why is it showing 2 versions? There we go. New computer, new settings. Hopefully everything's showing up okay on your end. So there's a Eldrazi Displacer here. Creates an infinite token with, what is that? Whenever you have 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield, you get more. This is a card that Anointed. How do you spell Anointed? I am terrible with Anointed Processions. So this allows for doubling, more than doubling the tokens. Well, you know what? Panharmonicon actually does better here, because Panharmonicon is going to double the tokens because we're not using any, unless we want to go like Shram's Expertise. And I guess we could go Shram's Expertise, but the whole thing I like to go is just Eldrazi tokens, because it does allow for the kind of the looping. So,
which one do you want to try?
And Zach's interrupting our live video.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys.
You shut the door, eh? I don't know if you're getting any of the store's feedback here, but anyway.
Anyways,
I guess this isn't live. We're not going to edit anything. So, Anointed Procession works. I don't know if we need it over Panharmonicon. There might be more hate for Panharmonicon at the moment in Anointed Processions, or we could just run both. I mean, it does allow us for like Shram's Expertise, but now that I'm thinking about it, Panharmonicon creates double tokens as well, and double any other enter the battlefield activation. It's going to trigger more. So that's definitely, we're going to put this over the maybe board because Panharmonicon works here too.
so you're saying Panharmonicon would be more superior to it, or?
Yes, because it's doing. They're actually sixes for what we're doing, unless we have any other enter the battlefield ability with. Then Panharmonicon gets better. So like if Thought Not Seer were to be in here, for example, but in this case, Throne of the God Pharaoh is going to be the win con with this. Yeah, zombies wouldn't be too bad to even go into like an Absent Zombies, because when we get the enter the battlefield zombie does the damage, and then when it taps, or the card that comes into play, the 3 zombie tokens that come into play tapped, will do 3 life, and then at the end step, they'll do another 3 life because they enter tapped. So all of those are something to keep in mind for options. But as far as the Infinite is concerned, it's Eldrazi Displacer plus a Brood Monitor equals Infinite. And then you'd have to have like a Blood Artist type of, or the Zulaport Cutthroat type effect. And this is an infinite combo by itself. It's something that we get a payoff with the Harvest Season to go into. And I think there's, let's just look up tokens in something with the highest mana cost. And I think that is the biggest one at the moment. There's a Fabricate one. This one's just worse. The Birthing Hulk, I believe, only brings in 2 as well, so it's just inferior to Brood Monitor. And yeah, there's not a lot of higher things, but Dark Salvation. Dark Salvation is something that we can throw a ton of mana in. There's zombies you could go.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to go infinite combo, we could go into the zombies, and Loam Dryad gets the Axe here, and we're just barely splashing for green for the Cryptothrite in the Harvest Season. We lose, like, the reason why I like the Eldrazi's is the Eldrazi's can then be used for mana, and it wouldn't be out of the question to really get something like Ulamog out very quickly, incredibly quickly with the Harvest Season. So if you're Harvest Seasoning on turn 3 with 3 creatures, for example, or even like turn 4 with even more creatures, then this could easily go. So what do you want to do? It's up to you. We can try the zombies list. We can stick with Eldrazi's. Because the combo here, this combo here creates a ton of different tokens, and then you can tap them all down. I guess they would have to have haste, though, with the Throne of the God Pharaoh. There's something that just adds addition you to create tapped creatures. Tapped. Because I know it works with Handware Battlements, but... Oh, yeah, the Diagraph Colossus sort of works here. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, you put in a tap 2/2 black zombie. And theoretically, that could go infinite. Your call. What do you want to do?
So do you think like it would be best to just scratch off the Nissa idea, or?
You could go Nissa, because I do understand Nissa getting pumped up for a lot.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we still, in blue, you still have, with as far as the blister pot, or Eldrazi are concerned, you have Metallic Mimic. They can make them bigger.
Right.
So, there is that. And I do like this Loam Dryad thrown to the God Pharaoh kind of combination.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe working in still like Bant, like, because like the way this is set up, I like the way it looks, but it's still like working in a little bit of blue too, because I was also thinking of trying, but the thing is I also was thinking about trying As Foretold as well, but where there's a bunch of mana ramp, I feel like that's also going to kind of interfere.
Yeah, As Foretold I think is just a nombo with this type of deck. You want a lot of, you want a very, like, As Foretold might work with like a Seasons Past deck actually, because you have a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s.
Right.
4s. You want a diverse mana base for the As Foretold. Actually, As Foretold can cast things with less mana cost and counters on it. But I don't think... As Foretold is actually interesting with the Snake, because doesn't it double the counters every time it's on it?
I think so, yeah.
Or at least you get 2 counters during your upkeep for each one of them. Yeah, it's something that I don't think it would quite fit in a deck like this. This is the way I'd go if you're going to be running the Harvest Season. You want as much bang for your buck. So not only do you want creatures to have the Harvest Season happen, you would also want cards that are payoffs, like a Brood Monitor, Eldrazi Displacer combo, to utilize that mana. Because the Harvest Season can actually go get wastes as well for the Eldrazi Displacer. And that's definitely a route to go. I'm liking the zombies, though, with the Throne of the God Pharaoh. Of course, servo tokens are another route you can go. They're as black-white servo tokens, and everything that would just be splashing for Crypt with Right / Harvest Season, which wouldn't be hard in either Abzan because you're getting the 2 fast lands out of Abzan, which would work out well for Crypt with Right type decks. Again, Loam Dryad works really well, Throne of the God Pharaoh, and something like that. So, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Well, when I first had it set up with the green-blue, because really, like, all I had... Because now that I'm looking at this, really all that I had it set up for blue for was As Foretold, which we said clashed with it, and then Nissa, and I was also thinking Bounty of Luxa.
Yeah, see, you're probably putting too many ramps in the one. I mean, Bounty, you could go between Harvest Season and Bounty of Luxa, you could definitely go Ulamog. But I would only suggest going Ulamog at that point. But can you do that quicker than like an Aetherix Marvel deck? Is
Probably
the thing.
not.
Well, you could go Conduit of Ruin to tutor it up for sure, and then you'd have definitely an inevitability of getting out the Ulamog.
Right.
So there is definitely that. I mean, what's your payoff besides Nissa? I mean, Nissa can still work in this deck just fine. I mean, Nissa can actually... do you even have a Nissa? Let me just check out Nissa. I guess I can bring Nissa up on this.
Yeah.
On here. So Nissa, to get up a payoff, so look at the top card of your library. If it's a land or a creature card, crew mana called less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you may put that card on the battlefield. So it actually doesn't work with Ulamog as far as the 0 if you do get it up to 10 loyalty counters. But it does work with any sort of other ETB effect, and it can actually go in this type of deck if you do want. I mean, I guess Ulamog doesn't have to be your payoff, because you can just go Nissa, and Nissa can actually find. I mean, it almost works as a glorified. The 0 works as a glorified Duskwatch Recruiter, which I still think Duskwatch Recruiter would definitely want to be in a deck like this. So, yeah, up to you. I think Zombies is still pretty sweet with just that the big payoff of the Zombies is that Dark Salvation. You could cast that for a ton with a deck like this, and it's good early and late. And you have a pretty good 1-drop with the Cryptolith with the Crypt Breaker. A couple of pretty good 1-drops that have this kind of tapped type ability, or just that one alone, and then the one whenever a zombie comes into play, it deals the damage. And it wouldn't be too far off to see that the Throne of the God Pharaoh would be additional damage. Say if you have 2 of these and 2 zombies out, it's gonna be lethal pretty easily. And you do have the Madness. So I'm gonna come back to this really quickly, and I'm gonna see if we can try out the zombie version. I don't know. Anointed Processions work better in this because I don't think Panharmonicon would be needed at all. Rishkar, I still think we'd want some sort of Rishkar. I think this package is going to be the green package out of most of the things we're going to be doing. Harvest Season, Rishkar, Crypt with Right. We don't need Displacer in this particular one. But for Zombies gets cool because we have 2 cards that can do a ton. And Liliana's Mastery is okay. The new Liliana is okay as well. Zombie. So sort by mana cost again. And it's like Dark Salvation, something you can put a ton of zombies in. And the new scrap starts to cast it, but whenever a player casts a spell, remove one and put a 2/2 zombie. It's actually pretty good. 5 zombies out of and then if you actually get higher with Panharmonicon here, this would actually enter the enters with. So this could actually get. I don't think it's quite worth it. I think there's better stuff to do. This creates 3 with the cycling of a 4, but I think the other zombie token producer you'd want in this one would be the from under the floorboards, because it does work with the Crypt Breaker. And this, with Anointed Processions, can pump out a ton of tokens. But again, I don't know if we have enough to make it worthwhile. So Crypt Breaker. And what is the new zombie? Let's see here. The Wayward Servant. So it'd be. I don't think we'd have to even like put too many other creatures. We don't have a lot of things to start utilizing with the Crypt with Right until later on. So we would need something else to generate zombies early on, which could be the other 1-drop, the other 2/1 1-drop, or the Festering Mummy, either one. Because I don't think we really need to care about like this one can come back though, the Dread Wanderer. I don't think we'd want the Diregraph Colossus in this particular one because we're not casting a lot of zombies. We're going for zombie tokens.
Yeah.
And at this point, the Graph Harvester, or not Graph Harvest. What is this one called? Dread Wanderer could work in this slot. Return to the graveyard to the battlefield. If you have tapped, or enters the battlefield tapped. That's actually pretty good with the Throne of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking this would be the other. The other creature would be Dread Wanderer. You'd probably want a lot of 1-drops just to synergize quite well with the Throne. And of course we'd want, we do have removal with the Dark Salvation. Shambleback's interesting because it works with Anointed Processions. I think you'd want these in the sideboard. It's kind of weird though because we'd have to be killing them. So we'd have to bring in like removal at this point. And yeah. Anointed Priest is actually kind of cool in this one because you can gain a ton of life, but we want more Wayward Servants. Didn't let us add any more. So maybe like 2, still pretty low on creatures. Rishkar maybe doesn't need to go in here in this case. It gives us a way to tap creatures down, but Crypt with Right's the best way to do that. It'd be some sort of draw card, discard card type ability would be something that I'd look for. But 24, this can definitely go down in lands. We do want some higher converted mana cost. Yeah, we'd have to have something that has a big payoff with Crypt with Right. What puts in a lot of zombies early? Oh, the other token one that does. The other Madness token one puts it in. I think is actually pretty good. He's got to think these are actually creatures as well. So it's a 4 mana bidding spell that works with. Creates two zombies, and then you can actually off of Madness, but I don't know if we have any other Madness stuff besides just the Crypt Breaker. So something discards a card that gives us a. And the only thing I can think of is the Call the Bloodline, which isn't zombies, it's vampires. So this actually does work quite nicely, but yeah. The Noose is okay too. The Wild Monger reprint is pretty decent. So Mummy's actually... Well, no, because it still requires us to discard a card on that turn. I don't know. I don't know what would go here at this slot. As far as zombies are concerned. Another payoff zombie card. I think you'd still want to stay with low, like 1s or 2s. Or even if like a Catacomb Sifter here. Even though it's not a zombie, it's an Eldrazi, could still get some sort of value. Or just like a Blinding Mummy. Blinding Mummy can be used sort of instant speed. Or Relentless Dand here. Something like this in this slot. So that's kind of the zombie version I would go. I'm not even sure if Harvest Season needs to be in here in this particular one. Whereas you'd want to go more of just utilizing the Throne of the God Pharaoh and other things that come into play tapped. But back to this one with Nissa, Nissa I think could work out with a Nissa list here. And I would still stick with Eldrazi's. Maybe trying to find the combo if you don't want to go into the combo at all. It would definitely be something like the Brood Monitor. What's the one that gets the big... Oh, the Big Pig. The Eldrazi as the finisher. And that way you're not really utilizing it as... Yeah, Decimator of the Provinces. Yeah. Like something like this. As kind of the finisher. Doesn't work with finding off of Nissa either. But do you have to put into play? You may, and if not, it just stays on top. But it does. If you find other stuff on, you can put it in play. It doesn't give them haste is the problem, but it's something a bigger Decimator list. And then how you'd fill this up with blue is then you have the Eldrazi Sky Spawner. And the Eyeless, something like Eyeless Watcher. Like some sort of combination of these gives a lot of tokens. A lot of tokens here to be used with the Decimator of the Provinces. And this, it can just help kind of get out Scry and get out a bunch of creatures for free. They also have the Drowner of Hope. Yeah, Drowner's probably just better than... Well, the Brood Monitor puts out 3. The Drowner puts out 2. And maybe Rishkar doesn't even need to be in here. And at this point, Throne probably doesn't need to be in here either. I just thought that Throne could easily be in a sideboard option for a deck like this, because at the end of turn you can tap everything, and then the Throne deals a ton of damage, so it can be kind of your win con. So that's just sort of musing around. I wish I had more time to kind of brew and build this deck. I have to go to a graduation though, so I have to be headed off here. But maybe we'll get back with Canyon and see what he ends up creating and see any other suggestions from the community. If you like these sort of videos, we'll try to do them in the future. One thing I can promise is I get a ton of deck lists sent to me, or hey, look at my idea, look at my deck. There's no way in hell that I have enough time to deal with my customers at my store that want my undivided attention for brews, and then all the messages I get on Facebook and my email. If you are interested in the Patreon, if you do sign up for the tier, I think it's the $15 tier, I will give you a video a month if you have a specific deck idea that you're trying to brew around. So if you have any ideas for Throne of the God Pharaoh, me personally, or for Kenyon, more of the Harvest Season route and the Nissa route, maybe we're not seeing that's better for the blue-green route than trying to go Eldrazi's, feel free in the comment section below to give your suggestions. Anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.